Ahoy, friends. It's me, Dave Landau. After a long night on stage, I like to kick back with a captain's hat and a fine cigar and watch the Dennis and Andy show. These guys are huge nerds, but they're the kind that you actually want to hang out with. Enjoy them. I do.
Well, hello, everybody. How are you on this fine afternoon? It's a little overcast here. It is the Dennis and Andy Show, 5 p.m. Wednesdays. That's where you want to be, and that's where we are. Dennis is actually representing with this shirt today. You just can't see it with the big screen in front of him, but he is. One day, I'll show up with no sleeves.
One day.
I swear I'll do it. When I need to order a new one of these, I've got 2 of these shirts. When I need a new one, I'll take one of the old ones and chop the sleeves off.
And if you wanted your own sleeveless, you could order a tank top if you like those from T Republic. Link is down below.
That's right. You know, one reason I don't cut the sleeves off is because Dennis already has low self-esteem, and me without sleeves would really lower his self-esteem even more.
He said that about the hair on his head, too.
I don't want to do that to him. Well, It's kind of like why I won't go skinny dipping no matter how many times he asks. I don't need to embarrass him that bad. So, anyhow, Randy Howell, welcome to the show. Thank you for popping all those links.
Randy's always on time, and he's always the first one
here. Hail, yes, hail to you. Thank you for popping links. Of course, my phone's ringing now. I'll just get that later. Let's see what else we got going on. Citizen Ronan in the house. Hello. Dan Genovese. Hello. What is up, everybody? JP Roca. What is the haps? All right. I expect my phone to ring again, too. All right. We are here. We have a guest, but before we get to him, it's Beer 30. Like he says, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Today you can hold it up to the camera and I'll read it. This one is another one from AJ. Shout out to you when you came down here for Heroes Con. It is a Zombie Dust Undead Pale Ale. Yes, you heard me right. It is an Undead Pale Ale. We are going to drink this one for Kor-Drath today. Three Floyds puts it out. They have a really cool description. Intensively hopped and gushing undead, Pale Ale will be one's only respite after the zombie apocalypse. Created with our marvelous friends in the comic industry, art by Tim Seeley. Alcohol volume is 6.5%. So it's a pale ale with a bit of an undead kick.
Dennis is getting hammered with that alcohol content. Holy crap.
It's a good thing I'm not driving to go eat tonight.
It's a good thing where we're driving isn't that far, is what you mean. Tarks9, hello. All right. Before we bring on the guest,
good one, AJ.
Today, quick thing. If you guys have a Ollie's near you, Ollie's, good stuff, cheap. That's their tagline. If you don't know what I'm talking about, search Ollie's on Google or DuckDuckGo, whatever.
Ollies, in case you're wondering, because there's 2 ways to spell it.
Apostrophe S. If you do have one, look what I picked up. The Mighty Crusaders 4-issue trade paperback, regular price $12.99, Ollie's price $2.99. Why did I get it? Well, I do actually like these old Archie heroes, but our guest, Kelsey Shannon, did the artwork for the entire 4 issues, $2.99. You can't beat that. Speaking of our guest, we should probably bring him on. I feel bad he doesn't have a beer to drink with us.
Well, maybe he is. We just can't see. Maybe he is drinking one, or maybe he's drinking something vodka related. or tequila related. Or maybe he's been drinking since 6 o'clock this morning and he's raring to roll.
You don't know. All right. Well, let's give him, let's see. What's the one I like? Oh no. And there goes the mouse again, which there it goes. Oh, nope.
Been having some mouse issues.
The problem is I need my mouse to work so I can move it over. Oh, God. What is going on?
Uh-oh.
Oh, my God.
Just bring him in.
There he is.
Bring him in. We got technical problems. Oh, my God.
I got him flustered.
Battery.
Man, if we were playing pool right now, you guys would be in trouble.
Dude,
Why, you've been drinking since 6 a.m.?
I like how you're like, maybe something vodka related. Like vodka.
I know. I don't,
So, my friends came and visited me from Wisconsin, and they brought this new drink. Depending on where you are in the country, you may or may not have access to it. It looks like a seltzer, and I hate the seltzer stuff. I hate it. But it's called Carbliss. Carbliss, Carbliss. And it's vodka. Has almost no carbs in it. And
dear God.
Indeed really tasty, unlike all the Trulies and White Claws and garbage drinks that are out there. This was really good. It's vodka related.
But with no carbs, I don't know if I could trust an alcoholic beverage with no carbs.
Yeah, but I thought now I'll be honest, I don't drink a lot of liquor like that. It's mostly beer. I thought liquor was better anyhow because it was low in carbs. Is that not true?
Oh, I have no idea.
Or is it,
it depends on
what about bourbon and scotch?
But it depends on the grain. So they're all different. Like my dad was diabetic, and they told him, basically anything that was like rye, stuff like that, he could have that. That was the best.
Oh, that was nice.
Where I'm looking. Got that one. There we go. That's all right. I was getting nervous about the carbs. I was looking.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
It was actually fantastic. It's produced in a place near my old hometown called Plymouth, Wisconsin. It's a small company, and I guess they've now got like 8 or 9 states that they're selling it. So it's expanding across the country. My friends came, bootlegged it just like Smokey and the Bandit across the state line, and it was fantastic.
I mean, if you've ever seen me, you'll know I've never really worried about the carbs before, so it's not.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Well, I don't have a 6-pack, Kelsey. I got
a 6-pack. It's in the fridge. Yeah, I mean,
there you go. No, I walk around with a half barrel, so I understand. I'm good with it.
Kelsey, if you told everybody that in your backyard you brewed moonshine, we'd all believe you, buddy.
Yeah, I would get some from you. I love moonshine.
I'm not saying I don't.
That's true. You never, you don't confirm or deny.
I have recently gone blind though, so that's a clue.
Oh, put down the Playboys, my man.
No, all I have is my memories of the.
That's why Andy wears glasses now. They're not just to see; they're safety goggles.
I mean, honestly, there's no prescription in these things. It's just whenever I want to go to town, I don't have to worry about my eyes anymore.
Hey, you
I don't know about you guys, but when I'm doing that, I like to stare down the barrel of the gun, as they say.
The optometrist
just to make sure everything's working.
The nurse is like, Dr. Andy Smithson again. Oh, seriously, again? Okay, get the saline.
He blew another lens out of his glasses.
Well, honestly, this isn't how I thought the show was going to start.
Wow, always.
I had an idea.
Of course.
With you, Dennis, you disgusting man.
Oh.
Hey, before we get the Scribbles, how did this project come about, the Crusaders?
That's I was always wanting to work with Archie. I mean, Archie was one of my favorite companies. My mom and her sister used to read Betty and Veronica and Archie and stuff when they were kids. So it was always a goal of mine to get in there to at least scratch that off the bucket list and to tell my mom and my aunt that, here's some that I did. But when I get in there, you have like 5 artists that do all the traditional Archie stuff and you don't get to do it. So I'm like, well, they kept giving me other things. Like, here, could you help out, on Josie and the Pussycats? So I did like an issue and a half of that.
Did you really?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That was a lot of fun.
Oh my God, that's cool.
I did the last issue, actually. Audrey Mock, who did most of the issues. She's great. And she couldn't finish the last issue and a half for one reason or another. I think she moved on to Archie proper. She was taking on the regular title. So I finished up that series, the last issue, and I don't know if it was quite a half, but that was so fun. But then it led into more things. I'm like, what else you got? I love working with you guys. You guys are so great. And maybe I can eventually get, a traditional Archie book out of the deal just to have it in. But I can't remember if this was before or after the Mighty Crusaders versus Super Teens thing that I did with David Williams and Gary Martin.
Let me see.
I can't remember if that led into the Mighty Crusaders.
Oh, yeah, they're both 2018, so I can't help you.
It all happened kind of at the same time, but on one way or another, they asked me if I wanted to do Mighty Crusaders, and of course, I immediately jumped on it because when I was growing up, my favorite books were like team books. Like I was all into Jim Lee, X-Men, and X-Force, and even John Byrne's Fantastic Four stuff. I was really into. I love that stuff, and I just always wanted to do something classic. And the writer was coming off of, or he was still writing Sonic the Hedgehog. He's been doing that so he was dying to kind of do something more comic booky like we grew up on. So we were all set to go. We had tons of ideas. We were raring to go. We were like 200 issues. Let's do this, and this was before I kind of, before anybody realized everything that was going on in the comics industry and in the culture. So I was sitting around having the time of my life, but nobody was buying the book, So it ended up getting canned after 4 or 5 issues, I guess. But man, it always is a little feather in my cap, getting to do that. And that's one that we really could have written for forever, man. If there was an audience for it, and there is an audience for it, it just nobody saw it or they didn't advertise it. I don't know. It's
that
such
was
a
just actually going to be my
I'll
question
be honest,
because I've never heard of it.
No, neither did I until Ollie's this past weekend.
Well, I mean, in the comic industry, I mean, I've been railing since the beginning to like advertise. I mean, why you got Time Warner? You could be advertising in like Rolling Stone or whatever, getting more fans to the table, and they never cross marketed like you're supposed to. I mean, we're taught in college how to do that, and they never did it. And so,
I do know. Sorry, I do know with this one because I do have the one issue, and now that you said it was collected, I'm going to look later tonight for that. And if not, I'll definitely get the second one.
It's kind of like a digest format.
I love that.
I do
so
too.
This is the Archie Super Teens versus Crusaders that you, David Williams, and Gary Martin worked on. And I remember seeing this in comic shops, obviously because I bought it. Mm-hmm. But it's what I have an issue with where they put it. They put it this one comic shop I go to in town has the big rack that takes up the whole wall of like all the mainstream, blah, 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 right? DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse, whatever. Then they have a smaller rack up front, which is all the kids' books, and they put it with the kids' books. Mm-hmm. But I look at everything. So that's the only reason I saw that. And I'm like, I wouldn't have put that with the kids' books. I would have put that with the mainstream, stuff.
Yeah, well, because Archie's traditionally kind of known as kids' books, and the Super Teens specifically. I mean, that's all traditionally kids' stuff. But I think Archie was making a move to be more contemporary. They were even with their TV show at the CW, with bringing in new characters, making gay characters, whatever to kind of get with the times. They were trying, and they had the old stuff kind of locked down, but the industry as a whole still didn't know what to make of them. I mean, and then they made like the comic book. I know why you never saw the Mighty Crusaders, because they had a separate imprint called the Dark Circle Comics, and it's an Archie thing, but it's where all their like superhero stuff, or what's his name, Jughead as a werewolf or whatever.
Is that new or what was it? Oh, you know what? In the 80s, didn't they call it Red Circle? Because
maybe that's what it was. Red Circle.
I've got all the Fly issues from the 80s that Steve Ditko did, and I've got a few of the Shield issues. But I've got a trade paperback Archie put out years ago that collects all the Golden Age Fly stuff.
See, I never saw any of that. I got when they did Impact, when Mike Carbeck was doing the Fly. I was so into all that stuff, the Black Hood, and Red Circle, and I never understood that. I'm like, why don't you just put it under the Archie title, Right. And I think that must have. Well, I guess if you knew about Red Circle, then any retailer would probably know about Red Circle. So they were. I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe it was in the Archie section of the catalog. I don't know. That nobody ever talked about it.
Oh, I definitely think it was in the Archie section of the catalog, but I don't even look at the catalog anymore. But
I mean, when I previewed, I actually just looked through it because they're putting in the order, so I had to get all my new funnies ordered. And that is right where that stuff would be, but I never saw it. Never saw it, so that was kind of new to me. That's actually
we never did any. It was such a cool story too, because it was developing into some cool stuff because we were setting up all these things about the different characters, and that's what I really love about. I mean, that's what a lot of us probably love. There's the action and the cool characters and the bad guys and all that, but an ongoing series allows you to really kind of develop all the characters and get in there with all the nuance of stuff. And that was my last chance at that, because nowhere else could you get on a series for more than 6 issues tops. They would rotate the creative staff out regularly. So to find a 12-issue run was on next to impossible unless you had a big name, but so many of us were ready. I'd worked for, 20 years up to that point, or 15 years trying to get to that point where I feel like I could do a monthly, and I was just there, and I was like, here it is. Yes. It's all the timing is just right.
It just screams fun.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we were having a blast.
That is, I can't wait to read it. That is just fun looking stuff.
It's very simple, very traditional comic book kind of stuff,
No, I'm with you, man. When Marvel, or not Marvel, DC did the Impact stuff, I was buddies with Tom Lyle, so I bought the comic because I like the comic. I like the Fly. I love all those guys. The Shield. I love all that stuff. So, seeing that, I was like, oh my God, kind of like you. It's like, I'd love to draw that, but the difference is I have no interest in ever drawing regular Archie stuff.
Oh yeah.
I did 3 sample pages for when I was in a Kubert school. I did 3 sample pages of I'm trying to find them to show them to you.
Dude, what's his name? Ed Piskor was just talking about that. He was at the Kubert school too this morning. He was talking about having to do Archie samples, and they were like, no, it looks it needs to be more stiff, or something like that.
Well, that's the one thing. So you like that stuff. I'm looking down, so I'm trying to look at my screen.
Oh, dude, I'm a big fan of Dan DeCarlo and who's the guy that drew
Josie and the Pussycat stuff. Did you I assume you had to stick to pretty basic type layouts, right?
No. The Josie and the Pussycats, again, when I was saying that Archie was trying to be contemporary, so they had Audrey Mock did it in her style, which she's kind of not manga, but slightly tilted towards a female style, or manga style, a little bit. Very, very subtle. She was very good at fashion and all these things that were perfectly appropriate for Josie and the Pussycats. She nailed it. And so I came in and luckily it was an all action series, an all action episode where there are giant robots and motorcycle chases through the streets of Japan, through Tokyo. So I didn't have to worry about it. I'm like, okay, there's no way, I can follow Audrey's style or the traditional Archie style, but they didn't ask, I think they were hoping for anything that would be cool that they can sell. So like they were definitely trying, to have something else.
Click
Man,
on
I'm
Randy.
hearing like a lawnmower or something. What now?
Randy posted.
Hey, Kelsey evolved into an AI consciousness. I know. I was wondering when somebody would notice that. I love it. That
I do too. I've been waiting for somebody to say that there was an AI consciousness. Kelsey's a construct now.
Yeah, I'm like a feeling that you have. I'm an emotion. I'm ethereal. I'm now part of the zeitgeist of everything. I don't know. Yeah, but Archie was a lot of fun. I mean, and again, I was always looking for a home. I'd found a good home with. Oh wow! Wait a minute.
that's when I was a senior at the Kubert School.
Dude, that's actually really good because you gave perspective to the environment in a way that they never do.
Well, I mean, I didn't know any other way. Hold on, I got it's a little 3-page sequence. Hold on, my stupid mouse will work. Oh my god, where'd it go?
Oh, that's funny.
I know. I'm going to have to actually plug in a real mouse. I don't even see the dumb thing now.
So you hated it then, right? Because you're not like, this is not your thing.
No, I didn't hate it. I enjoyed doing it, but I even think when I showed it to them, they probably said it needed to be flatter. And
yeah, for sure.
Damn it. I'm literally going to have to. Oh my god! I can't. Can you even see the stupid mouse cursor? No, I can't even see it. Oh, well, I did. Oh, it's working again.
We are having such technical difficulties.
Oh, now it's not.
It's me. I got you flustered.
No. This was happening right before the show. And hey, guys, check out Kor-Drath the Reckoning while Dennis talk. I'm going to plug in a real mouse.
So, all of a sudden, like, his mouse died right in the middle when we were getting things set up. We just did our movie review. We just reviewed The Outlaws, which you will see on both of our channels, the DNA show and the Andy Smith are tomorrow. So we just finished recording it, and all of a sudden his mouse took a dump. Literally took a dump. So he replaced the battery, and then it started working, and then it took a dump. So we might have some real technical difficulties, but now he's having to get an old-fashioned plug-and-play USB mouse.
Oh yeah, I've got the real one now, so I can go back and. Oh no, all right. Let me stop sharing the screen while I do this because I want to show you the couple other pages.
Well, here you could show. I got one of my favorite Archie guys is this guy Sam Schwartz, who not many people.
I heard of him.
Yeah, he's pretty much done almost all our Jughead. Like any Jughead you find, it's generally going to be Sam Schwartz, but you'll know him because of little things. I have to do the magnifying lens. See the way he does like clothing wrinkles and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah,
it's a little more advanced than like traditional stuff. I actually still draw on my wrinkles and stuff like this today.
Oh really?
Pretty much. You can always see, and he always has this bit of movement and action in his characters. There was just something about him that was like a little bit like a lot of movement and stuff in his figures, and a lot of people talk about who's the other guy? Harry Lucy was another guy. But most people talk about Dan DeCarlo. Like Dan DeCarlo was the guy.
Oh yeah, Dan's the
yeah. And but I mean, I even like some of the more contemporary guys who I'm forgetting their names now that I'm put on the spot. But yeah, I got a ton of this stuff. I'm a big fan of the cartoon books. Like I wish that was still a thing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, Steve. I don't know if you know who the artist Steve Butler is.
Oh yeah,
Steve is doing and his daughter's actually inking the stuff, doing some of the Pure Heart, Archie stuff.
Oh yeah,
and it's coming out in digest form because he'll post it on Facebook. I'm like, dude, where can I get that? And he's like, oh, it's a digest, so you just gotta have to look for it, and he'll give me the number and stuff. But I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
So besides Archie, I was a big Dennis the Menace fan and Richie Rich. I had all the millions and
Bob
billions
Oxner,
and
those
trillions
guys.
and gems and dollars and, you know, you name it. They were always fun. I never understood as a kid what was what, but I didn't care. It was Richie Rich.
See, this stuff is really good and would go probably well with any cartoon book. But yeah, there is something specific about the layout of an Archie book that, yeah, flat. I don't know what it is. Yeah, yours looks like Archie had gone into the normal comic book world for an episode, you know, like he's going to the Marvel offices to get a job or something.
Did you ever see the page? So, you know, when Neil Adams was trying to break into the business, he went everywhere and he took samples to Archie. Right,
oh, yeah, dude. I've never seen Neil Adams Archie pages.
Well, no, what it is, I'll try and find it. So he took samples, and they're like, I can't remember what they said. They were complimentary and stuff, but they just didn't have to work at the time or something. But one of the samples, it was of the Fly, so I don't think it was actually Archie characters like Jughead and stuff. But one of the samples was the Fly character, the superhero. And he did this horizontal panel of the kid transitioning into the Fly. And they were like, but we want to use that one panel. So that was his first printed work, as far as I know.
That's pretty funny.
One panel. That's actually awesome.
Did they redraw it or they actually use that?
No, panel? They used it. I'm looking for it so I can show you. It's in that reprint book that I have.
Who drew the Fly back in those days? Do you know?
Oh, here it is. Who did it? Al Williamson did one story.
Oh, what? I didn't know that.
Oh, dude, it had some good art. I found it too. So let me.
Yeah, I've only known about the what's his name? The guy that drew Batman for years, Parabeck. I'm only familiar with his Fly, so I don't know much beyond that.
So check it. That last panel is Neil Adams.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have seen that. That's funny.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know, 18 maybe. And they were like, hey, we want to use this one panel, though. So
I got to show my Fly. I did some samples for Fly when I was 18, and it certainly doesn't look like this.
I love that. Dude, I love that design, too. I wouldn't change a damn thing if I got to draw them.
Nintendo Ginger said, I didn't read much about Archie, but loved Garfield and Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh, yeah.
Go. Other great ones.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I'm a huge cartoon book fan. Even the Hanna-Barbera stuff, all the Gold Key, like I'm collecting like as much as that as I can find. You know, even like what is it, Hot Stuff, and like man, Bob Oxner's stuff is some of my absolute favorites.
Bob is just he's one of the best.
Is it Oxner?
That's the one I'm finishing. I'm missing one.
Which one?
John Byrne, baby.
That is John Byrne, yes.
He did like a whole bunch of Bob Hope comics. Like I'm always hoping to find like somebody just wanting to get rid of a whole long box of Bob Hope comics I'll buy for like $150 or something.
So Bob drew a lot of those?
He did, yeah, he did a ton. And then he also did oh man, what else? Adobe Gillis.
I didn't know that about the Bob Hope, because I actually have I've got 2 issues of Bob Hope because Neil Adams drew 2 issues of it.
Oh, okay.
And Big Karl and he's a friend of ours. I just went to a shop with him. We did a road trip. Mr. 7'2" himself took me to a shop I had never been to. They had Bob Hope, and that was one of the ones I was looking at. I'm like, look at those. The Bob Hope. They had some Abbott and Costello, some Three Stooges. Good stuff.
I wonder if I might have to share my whole screen for this. Here, I was going to show you.
Let me see.
Some Bob Oxner. Here, I'll have to. Let me see if I can cut you guys out so it's not a weird effect. Can I do this? I wonder if I switch. But yeah, look at this is Bob Oscar, Bob Hope. But like,
oh, that's great.
You could tell just like, I mean, that looks all cartoony, but there's something like a little bit extra with like the design of these faces and stuff and like teeth and, you know, the layout's just like a little bit more advanced than everything else. His women are like amazing.
Didn't Bob draw Angel and the Ape?
Yes, he did. Yeah. Great stuff. I mean, he's so good at the women. Look at this colored.
Oh,
like,
dude,
purple.
seriously, look at that.
But look at his face, man. I love anything with like old school Frankenstein, and he like does a great job.
You know, it's so funny that, you know, you mention it and looking at his stuff, and now just looking at, you know, your stuff, I never would have thought about it, but you can kind of see that, you know, you really do dig his work. So that's cool. hugely influenced by him. I would give over completely to my cartoony nature if it wasn't for like, you know, the cool factor. Things are gonna be cool, but I don't know. Maybe I could talk people into liking cartoon books, at least from me. Well, but see, I think that's the thing I think it depends on the person. If I automatically switched over to it, I'm not sure it would fly. But with you doing it, your stuff, like that Cyberfrog story that's in the where he's playing soccer and stuff, that's in the put out of the lost scenes or whatever. I thought that was fantastic. Now I don't know if you mean going cartoonier than that. One, if you did, I'd love it, but just that level itself, I was looking at that and the way you simplified Cyberfrog and just in his arms and stuff, and I'm like, I just wouldn't think of that, because I always look at a lot of that comes from my Brute and Babe stuff, like the way you do the metal and stuff. Like I was so into all that, and that whoever that colorist it was, Michael Altieth or whatever. Mike Attia, yeah.
Dude, that guy like still floors me when I look back at those, like how the metal was done. I'm still blown away. Like, how does he do this?
Oh, that's cool. Here is that issue of The Fly by Neil. It's number 4 from the 50s. I'm trying to think because Kirby worked on it too. Kirby and Simon, but there's no stupid credits. I mean, there's credits in my trade paperback, but that's harder to get to than just looking this up online.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'm not sure because this is during that time period before Kirby was, what we think of with all the big slashes and stuff in his art.
Another thing I like, I've been looking at a lot of the Kirby stuff too, but like how each panel represents, there's like more time passes in between panels, where it seems like these days each panel leads directly into the next. And like, I love how each panel is like another, not necessarily another scene, but another moment of time. So it's like so much changes from panel to panel, and so it feels like you get a lot more story per page. In this old stuff.
But that's a really good point, though, because one of the pages I'm working on now on Kor-Drath. The previous. Oh, look at that shot of the dude there.
So good.
I have no idea who drew that, and that is not reprinted in my book because the book only reprints the plot.
Oh man,
makes me want to get these issues though. But anyhow, so I'm working on this scene in the book now, where it's actually a page where the 4 people that paid to be drawn in the book, it's that page.
Oh, nice.
So I always save that for last, and I email the guys. I emailed them like a week and a half ago and said, hey, send me your photos. It's time for me to start drawing that, that page.
Mm-hmm.
And, it goes from Kor-Drath is entering like a bar, and the last page or the last panel on the page before this one is a back shot of him. So the camera's behind him, and you're seeing past him, into the bar, and you see the waitress and stuff and a little bit of the bar, but not too much, because I didn't want to, the point wasn't to go,
save that moment. Yeah.
Inside this bar right now.
Right.
And so you don't see a lot of it. So you turn the page, first panel on the new page is Kor-Drath walking past the table. that has these 4 dudes sitting at it that are the ones that paid to be in the book. And originally I was like, I was just overthinking it from the standpoint of, well, I already set this up in this panel where because there's an actual bar in the bar, but then there's tables and shit as well. And I was like, oh, but I already put the bar here. So if he's walking past the table, how can I? And I'm like, dude, it's a big place. The place is literally 2 stories tall. So there's rooms up above for rent and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like a hotel type thing.
It's an inn.
It's an inn. And I'm like, I'm thinking about this way too much. He could literally from the panel to panel have walked deeper into the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Different, you know, and I'm like, yeah, dumbass, just do that.
See,
and that's
you're thinking in slow motion. You're thinking like, oh man, he's walking into this place like a boss, slow motion. So we're gonna see every inch, every table, and their reactions to it. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to think about the timing of it. Like, you do that, it slows everything way down. But if you skip that time where he's in he goes from walking in the door where you see the table to being at the bar. You know, your mind fills in the rest where he's like walked in. Yeah.
Well, and part of it's because Dan Fraga and I have been getting so at Heroes Con a few weeks back, you know, Dan was here, Stranko was a guest. He's known Jim for a while. I've only talked to Jim once or twice. But anyhow, there's this book that Bud Plant has. I can't remember the name of it, but basically Jim Steranko going by this book, and this book was heavily like referenced and stuff. In the few jobs that he did, like I think 27 stories, he created about 144 new comic book innovations that were never done before.
Of course. Yeah.
And this book breaks them all down by issue and by panel and what they are and blah, blah, blah. And so I've been looking at a lot of Steranko, and a lot of his stuff from panel to panel is really slow because he would do the pans and he would do like, oh, he's picking it up here. The next panel, he's putting it down, you know, and crap like that, instead of like what you're saying with Kirby, where Kirby would be like Cap's entering a room, and the next panel he's punching some dude that was in the room.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even like in the next panel he's face to face with the guy confronting him. Nope, it just goes right to punching the guy.
Yeah, and the next page he's handing him over to or next panel he's handing him over to the cops, and next panel after that he's already punching some other Nazi or whatever. You know,
exactly. So you know, I've got like Jim Steranko on the mind, and it's good, but at the same time it can be a hindrance too. So it's like, okay, I need to speed this up a little bit. He doesn't need to.
Well, then you look at like manga where they'll take one moment of an action scene and stretch it out over 60 pages, and that's because they're doing it a little different. It's not just about a character moving through space slowly. They're like they're getting into like the emotional context deeply of where these characters are at and why they're fighting, you know. And so I'm okay with stretching something out, provided that you're really trying to milk that moment, you know, for maximum drama, you know.
My kids are always into Naruto, and that's what reminded me of.
Yeah.
Even on the animation stuff, episode 150, they're running through a forest, and you see him. He's forward, you know, your typical anime, cloak flowing. You see the woods flying by. All right, come back a few hours later, they're on like episode 170. He's running through a forest. It's the exact same scene, but it's all like monologue, internal monologue that he's going through. And then 30 episodes later, he's still running through a forest. And I'm like, literally, I have been watching this guy every time I walk in run through a forest. I'm like, no wonder manga and anime is so cheap, because you literally just reuse the same shot. You just change the dub or the dialogue.
Well, in Japanese, Naruto means one who runs through forests. So, I mean, it's appropriate. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, oh my God.
Well, I mean, that's our in today's times as current comic book guys, you know, who are well aware of all this. I think it's in our best interest to take advantage of like all these different timings that we have available to us. You know, we're well aware of what these things do, and it's like, okay, there's no reason to be straddled with one or the other. It's like let's combine them all to the maximum potential, and that's exciting. And I'm always looking for new ways to lately, like the new thing I've been noticing, and it's not necessarily a new thing, but I noticed a lot of comic book guys doing this with us the last 10 years, is they'll draw a cutaway of a space, and then throughout the double page spread or even single page spread, but mostly it's a double page spread of like a cutaway of an apartment building. And you're, instead of panels, you're watching the character literally like, where's Waldo, walk through this environment, and the environment stays stationary and the character moves through that. And even I think the walls can sometimes form the panels of it. It's really interesting. And I'm like, well, there's another tool in the toolbox, who does that a lot? I remember looking at Chris Bacalo would do that.
Sure.
Because he draws very flat. He doesn't draw a lot of like up and down angles. It's just very like straight on. So he'll say, well, I got to have the reader read from top to bottom. So I'm literally going to have the character go down an elevator and then into a subway tunnel, and they're just literally going to be going down in the environment, which leads the reader down the page. And that's fascinating. I've never done that before, but
hey, let me grab this. Matt, $10.
Sup,
Thank
Matt?
you very much.
He's got something important to say.
That's right. Thank you. The craziest time a manga was slowed down time-wise was in Hunter X. Hunter, a group of heroes invading the villain's fortress.
Oh, wow.
In the first 10 seconds across multiple chapters through different perspectives.
Never read it.
No.
Dude,
So
a friend of mine, when I was working at Antarctic Press, one of the guys there and me were coming up with ideas for, like, we had this whole idea called One Punch. And this is before One Punch Man.
One Punch Man.
Oh, no.
But it didn't have anything to do with One Punch Man. We just couldn't use the title anymore. But we just wanted to do one issue of the most powerful punch you'd ever seen. And like over the course of 22 pages, you're setting up why he was going to be doing this punch. And then it's everything like, a page of like ripping the sound barrier and, glass shattering 2 blocks away, and all the effects of this one massive punch in slowed down to excruciating detail. And that would have been so fun to like do. But then One Punch Man came out and we were like, screw it.
So spoiler, it wasn't Doomsday Superman. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, we thought about that too, even doing it like a what is it? Like Superman, the Death of Superman had the splash pages. Every page. I love that actually.
Yep. Well, leading up to that, they counted down the issues before it. It started with, I think it started with 4 panel pages in the one issue of whatever action adventure. The next book it went into was 3, then it was 2, and then the final one, Superman 75, was all splash pages.
Yeah.
Because Bogdanov, I know for a fact, Man of Steel was John Bogdanov, and he had the issue before, and they were all 2 panel pages.
He should have done the Death of Superman. I mean, no disrespect to what's his name?
Dan Jurgens.
Jurgens, yeah. I mean, Jurgens actually a good writer and stuff, but I mean, Bogdanov. I mean, no offense, Jurgens, but Bogdanov could draw circles around you, man. I mean,
John's art on that Man of Steel stuff and the stuff he was doing at Marvel before that fits right in with like that nice cartoony realism, stuff.
Dude, I'm a huge fan of his Marvel work, and then I lost track of him when he went to DC. I've been looking back at that stuff. It's way more advanced, his Superman stuff.
DC's where his Man of Steel is where I first discovered him. Like I didn't know who he was. Like I saw his Marvel stuff, but I didn't know who he was.
So that stuff probably looks kind of amateur to you.
No, not really. Like some of that, what was it, X Factor stuff?
Well, no, he did the Exterminators. He did the Power Pack, which he had Hillary Barta inking him on that stuff. So good.
Oh yeah. What was the crossover? What was it? Fantastic Four versus Power Pack, was it?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
No,
It was Fantastic Four versus X-Men. Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
And that was inked by Terry.
Yeah.
But one of the things I noticed big time in his work on Man of Steel and stuff is the way he did wrinkles and clothing. And really got a Will Eisner vibe from it.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. He has, again, I'm often attracted to the kind of cartoony guys. And I think he's cut from the same cloth as a Bob Oskner, or how
I agree.
Oskner or Oxner.
If you look at the way he does women's faces and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's weird because like Man of Steel, I liked it earlier compared to later because he was giving Superman this really like tiny head and stuff. And I'm like, oh that's a superhero. But then like later on in the run,
had to make room for the mullet.
Oh, yeah. Well, did you ever see the issue he did that it was Batman was the guest star in it? And it was this weird story where Batman was basically going through the stages from when he first originated back in the 30s to present day. And John was riffing every style. So he did a Neil Adams style. He did a Dick Sprang style. He did a Bob Kane style. He did, as Superman passed through the ages in that 22-page story, he drew him in the specific style of the time period.
Yeah, because I remember, I actually saved one page from it that I look back on often is the him doing the Dark Knight. So it was like super thick, Frank Miller inking on it, or not Frank Miller, but it had that whole Frank Miller look. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was so cool. I actually saved that just because I'm like, I just want all my stuff to look like this. I mean, he did one page of it, just a throwaway idea. I just want to draw everything like that.
I hear you. Hey, well, let's talking to drawing. Let's talk about that campaign of yours if you want to. Pull it up.
I see. Thank you for posting the link to it. I see you post.
Yes, the link's being posted by Randy, by Val. All these guys are on it. Thank you guys for doing that. Let me do. Let's see this, and then swap over to here. There we go. So this is Kelsey's book, Scribbles. It's an art book. It's on Fund My Comic. The link is posted in the description below, and Randy and Val, they've been posting it. But give us a little bit about the book. Tell us a little bit about it and stuff.
Well, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a huge process junkie. I mean, I not only love comics, but I love how they're made, and each artist has their methodology. And one of the common things that most of us share is layouts and designs and sketches, but the stuff never really sees the light of day. We pass it amongst each other. Oh, let me see your character sketches and things like that. But we never really get to see it. And I'm a huge weeb. So I'm all into Japanese stuff. And the Japanese have a way nowadays of all the production art that goes into animation, from storyboards to designs to everything, goes into these great books like the Disney Art of Pocahontas or whatever, that they used to do. I collected those. Yeah, man, I loved all the sketches and the iterations of design and things like that. And so I've dabbled in that here and there. There was another form of Scribbles that was like a normal comic book size sketchbook, and nobody was looking. It wasn't a good time for me to put out a sketchbook. So this is like the penultimate sketchbook, a process book, layout book, and it's marking a very particular moment of time for me, in that this goes back probably the last 10 years. And there's over 20 different, almost full comic books in this, everything from the Archie stuff that we were looking at earlier. I have all my layouts for those in this book. And John Malin and the chat has convinced me that I need to do some annotations on these. So I will be I have some little redesign on some of these and talk about some of the imagery and where it's from. Some of this is unpublished. Like I was trying to get a job doing the Hercules book, which I thought I
Okay.
could have done something cool with, but they didn't like it. So, whatever. So I was like, well, nobody will ever get to see this. Let me put it in a book. Same thing with like animation design and things like that. Nobody ever gets to see that stuff. So I'm trying to throw it all in this book before they tell me not to. And then we'll worry about it later. But then, there's a lot of stuff that has been published. Like this was for a book at Antarctic Press called Sherlock Ninja, which I just got a big kick out of. I was like, what a great idea. Sherlock Holmes is a ninja. And have him fighting, what's the guy that turns, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Okay. Mr. Hyde.
Yeah. Mr. Hyde is like a Hulk kind of character,
That's cool.
Does he have a Watson?
Yeah, I think he does. I don't remember. I just did this one cover. I would have loved to have drawn this book. If there was an audience for it, money to be made, these are things I could have written for years. It's just I came into the industry like I came in on the decline, I guess, post Image, where things were kind of like slowly going down to where we are today. So little by little, you couldn't do, and it's not just because the industry couldn't sustain it. It's because a lot of times artists were doing more and more per issue. It's like, I got to compete with the Jim Lees out there, the Joe Mads. So we're going to be putting more into our books and then taking longer. And then coloring is basically like painted comics now. Yeah. And so that takes longer to produce. So little by little, it's like everything takes so long to make. Nobody could be trusted with like a monthly schedule. So, this came honestly. It wasn't just lack of sales in the beginning. It's just the industry structuring itself around where we are at any given time. And, not a lot of guys could do monthlies. So they just phased that out. Now they got rotating casts of stuff. But, and it's so funny because now we're at this time where the monthly is no longer an issue. We want your best work. So it's like, gosh, like I'll never get that kind of monthly grind. That where just issue after issue, new interesting covers, new ideas, new places, new things to do every issue or every couple issues.
Sure.
Now it's just, we're going to have to do that over the course of years and years, just how slow for now. Things might change, but this is
I totally do where you're coming from. I mean, it's weird. I kind of miss doing the monthly thing. I got so used to just 20 or 22 pages, and then I lucked out a lot of times when I got done with one. I'd have a couple days before I got my next script, 3 days, so I could just I'd go through and I'd clean the office and I'd reorganize stuff. So when the next one came, yeah, but it's working on Kor-Drath for a year now, and finally like 4 or 5 pages left and the book's done. And it's weird because I'm actually thinking about that now, going, holy crap, I've only got 4 or 5 pages left. When I started it, it was like, oh my God, I'm only on page 3 out of 76. and then when I was on like page 35 or 36, I was like, all right, I'm halfway through. And then when I was up to like page 50 or something, I'm like, wow, I've drawn 2.5 books.
When it was in there towards the beginning, the dual page, he complained more about that dual page. Dude, it took me 10 hours to draw that. And I'm like, I can write in more double pages.
That's right.
Oh, man. So that's a good point. So can we get a Kelsey comic every month? What do you say?
Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm wanting to do at least as close as we can get, because these campaigns take 30 days at a minimum, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I've heard other artists doing Patreons where, like, I mentioned Piscor before. He does a Patreon where every week he posts new pages of the comic that he's doing. So If you don't want to get spoilers, you don't have to go to it, or you can see these as they're being produced, and then they eventually get, collected into these things. So there could be a way to get comics faster. But also otherwise it's like, well, let's just do lean and mean campaigns every 3, 3 months, every 30 days. That's 1 month.
Well, 30, and then people usually do 60 days, and then it goes in demand, which is fine. I mean, if you don't have the book done, the nice thing about this book that you're doing is
it's already done stuff.
It's done. I mean, when are you shipping this anyhow?
Well, I was considering going into another 30 days because I was going to this convention in Tampa at the end of next week, actually.
Right.
And I was like, I can take the QR code. I can get all that stuff. I can get more people, more sales. Yeah. But the other side of me is like, well, I want this to be a boutique item. The people that were here, the people that wanted it, got it. It's not like I haven't been advertising it a whole lot, it's so it'll be rare. And also I want to get everything I need to get done before this convention, so I can just go and hang and not have anything hanging over my head. It could be being distributed, printed, and getting ready to go while I'm at the con. So I'm thinking just keeping it at the 30 days. So that leaves the 6 days, I think, is left. Let me see.
I was going to ask how many are left then.
Yeah, 6 days to go, and we're at 228 backers. Let me do a refresh because I don't know.
So 6 puts you at, from today, what, Tuesday?
The 26th. So that's the day before I leave for the con. So
Matt Hepp says it's extended for 10 more days then.
Oh, that's a good idea. We could do got another one. 289. How much was it? 280?
That was Randy. Randy was 289, he said.
Awesome. Thanks, Randy. Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to get this. I'm going to do a little push towards the close of this because I'd love to get like at 17, just a nice figure, or 300 backers. I love the nice even numbers.
I mean, I think in 6 days you'll get that no problem.
Yeah. So we'll see if I can get one of those to get a nice round number so that it looks all nice and clean. I'll be more than thrilled. Already I'm overjoyed with how many people have responded to this, and also for trusting in me and in Fund My Comic, which is kind of a new thing. There's been more and more people going there. I'm so thrilled that people are making it work. And
are you having a good experience with them?
Absolutely. Anytime I have a question, they make time for me. They're doing so much. But I also, they have other things that they have available that I haven't heard about in any place else that they're trying to roll out. Things like getting your books in Amazon and other types of deals.
Oh, that's cool.
Publishing. I think they're even going to extend printing and post-production work just to make it easier for creators to get, who don't have these options, to get their books done. So, and I want to take advantage of as much of it as possible just to show people that it works. Like I don't have a lot to worry about. Like I have very low overhead. I don't have a family to support. So I could take these risks, and kind of show people like, look, hey, it works. And if anybody else wants to jump in there and try these things, I wholeheartedly recommend it because it's been smooth sailing. I've barely done anything, and I probably should do a lot more. But like I said, this is just kind of a test bed. I wanted to see how it would work without a whole lot of effort. Let me just see what it could do.
Guys, I just want to say we're only literally $34 away from him breaking into 17,000. Let's do that while we're on the show. Come on, one of you guys want to back this? It looks great.
I already did. So
I might take. Who was it that said? Was it Matt saying extend it for another 10 days? I might actually.
Yeah, that was Matt.
Yeah,
because that's the other thing too is you don't have to do another 30. You can do, I assume, however many you want. I mean, you could take it going with the nice round numbers and whatever. This isn't exactly. This is kind of like that. You could extend it to going, you know what? I want to end it on the end of a week, a Saturday. You know what I mean? Or Monday, whatever. But I think that's a great drawing.
Just, I got all my Anna sketches in here in case anybody's.
I've got that poster of her hanging up on the door in my office.
Yeah. Art of Roy was asking, what app are you using basically to collate your books? Are you using InDesign?
Well, I don't actually have any of that stuff right now, and that's Luke Stone is going to be handling a lot of that for me.
Okay.
The collating. I'm actually putting all the pages together and formatting them, getting the writing on there, getting all the art together. Did the cover and getting everything ready, and then he's going to plug it into his whatever program. And
it's probably InDesign. That's what most book designers use to paginate.
I'm wanting to do more of this. I'm going to be doing more of this myself on my own book because I'm a bit of a head case when it comes to this stuff. It's like, yeah, I definitely don't mind the help. I like people to. I love to have collaboration and help, and anybody that wants to help, I allow them to help. But I also like being the captain of my own ship. So, like,
I'm with you from the standpoint of, like, I have InDesign, but I don't know how to use it. And I've looked at YouTube videos, and I'm just like, oh, I just need to take like a few days to actually learn it. But my thing is, I want to learn it, but I would still probably use somebody to put it together. But
but you'll have the knowledge.
Then I have the knowledge. It's like lettering. I don't like to letter, but I know how. And Illustrator and stuff. So I like to know how to do everything, but I don't have a problem going, like, I know how to color, but I don't have the time to color a 76-page book. So I'm right there with you. It's like, I'd rather I want to know how to do it, but I don't have a problem hiring someone.
Yeah, I mean, in my next one, I'm going to be doing a lot of things the old way, where I'm doing hand coloring, but I'm not painted. Like, I'm not trying to do a painted book, but I want to do hand coloring. If Lynn Varley can be considered painted, then I guess it is a painted book. But
now, are you saying, when you say hand coloring, are you looking at doing the blue line way, where you would actually print out on Bristol like a blue line?
Yeah, if I have to,
would go over it, or would you just?
Yeah, I'm currently developing a way to do it all on one piece. And like a lot of this goes into like researching everything from how what's his name? He colored Steve Rude on the Space Ghost.
Wait, was that Les Dorscheid?
No, what's his name?
Wait, no, that wasn't Olaf.
No, but Olaf is another one of those guys. Somebody in the chat knows who I'm talking about. He's a painter in his own right. Ken Stacy.
Oh, did Ken Stacy color the Space Ghost?
Yeah, and I was talking to Dave because David Williams is also on the paint and kick right now, and we're sharing a lot of like knowledge that we're learning. And I was looking at Space Ghost, and that has like a painted quality, but still looks like a comic book with super flat color. How did he do this? Did he use blue line and all this stuff? Because I talked to Chiarello about how he used to do it, and he used blue line. And but David owned a page from that Space Ghost at one time. And he said there was no blue line. It was all on the art. And I'm like, well, how do you do that? Because that was inked by someone else. It was drawn by Rude, the dude.
Wait, so you're saying Dave's saying it wasn't? They didn't take the black and white art and just reduce it down onto Bristol, and he colored that. He actually colored the original art that Steve drew, and somebody else. No, wait, Steve inked that himself, I thought. No.
It's inked by John Nyberg.
Oh, did he? I've got that Space Ghost. It's my favorite, but I haven't looked at it in forever.
Yeah, and it's real trip when you look at it, thinking that it was. And so I don't know necessarily if it was drawn on the actual original, but I've never seen a black and white page of that ever. So it makes me think that he did it right on the original.
Yeah, that's weird because I have a Nexus page of colored page, but it's reduced down blue line.
Yeah, and so that's another thing. It's like I have this kind of in this weird time that we find ourselves where the art of it means a lot more than it used to. It used to be just a very commercial art. It's all about the story. We're after, like, I'm a print junkie, man. I'm after the print. But we're in a time period where I'm seeing original art sales grow. I can't keep a piece of art in this house if people want it. So I'm like, okay, what do I do with comics where you got another inker? Sometimes it's inked on blue lines, sometimes it's colored in the computer. Nothing, it all exists in pieces except for the print. So I'm like, how can I do it as old school as possible, where if I bring these pages to a convention or if I sell them at some point, someone will have the exact thing that they're seeing in the comic book. They can own that with lettering and everything.
I've never thought of this before when it came to like doing watercolor or even markers, whatever color, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see somebody do it. And I'm like, wow, I've never thought of that. Which is, because my mindset is pencil, ink, color, color. But what about pencil, color, and then ink it? Because then you don't have the whiteout problem. Because
if you're using a brush, it's fine.
What's that?
If you're using a brush to ink, it's fine. Anything else?
Well, yeah, and that's what I use mostly, the brush.
But I've used pens over, pens even over whiteout. Your pen will stop working shortly after. I mean, it's just so.
Yeah. You can't. Yeah, no.
Well, I mean, like those tech pens, like zebra pens.
Yeah.
I'm sure like a quill could probably work it fine, but.
I've tried quills over whiteout. I mean,
it's
as
rough.
long as you're not trying to press down on it to get a line weight, if you're just gliding the quill over the whiteout, you're fine. But if you press down, I've always, I've seen whiteout dug up. Hey, here's a quick question for both of us.
Go ahead.
Who do you think, John Platt says, a question for me and you, who do you think, in your own opinion, drew Wolverine the best, Rob Liefeld or Barry Windsor Smith?
Oh, come on.
I mean, honestly, nothing. I like Rob's work. Don't get me wrong. I like Rob's work, but
this is John.
Between those two, I'd say Barry Windsor Smith. But I mean, honestly, I'll take John Byrne over Barry Windsor Smith. So,
well, I mean, this is kind of a trick question because, like, I don't recall many Rob Liefeld Wolverines. For me, my favorite Wolverine is without a doubt Mark Silvestri and Dan Green. So I mean, but that's just my generation. Either that or Buscema, because those are the two guys I kind of fell in love with Wolverine reading. So then you got your Jim Lee Wolverine, which is like a whole other animal. But I love Barry's. I mean, that was such a big one for me. Just because I'd never seen anything like it when that came out. I was like, what is this? I was looking at it in Marvel Comics Presents. And along with like Sam Keith stuff eventually. And it's just like you never get to see like these characters done in those kinds of ways. So but it was fascinating, but like I look at it now and like I much prefer like Art Adams Wolverine over Barry Windsor Smith. So it's just a different kind of like now I'm into like I want to be innocent and pure and fun.
If I'm going to go kind of cartoony too, I mean, and he didn't do a lot, but the few Wolverines Michael Golden did were just awesome.
Dude,
he drew him so short and thick.
Yeah, exactly. Like he should be.
Right, like he should be. But I mean, if I had to choose between Barry or Rob, I take Barry, and I think Rob would say the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a different thing. Like I love Rob,
but they're two different animals.
Yeah, I love Rob for that pure innocence of comic book, stuff. Where it's like it doesn't matter that it makes sense or not. It doesn't matter if because it's just meant to be fun for the moment that you're reading it.
John,
Barry stuff is meant to last for ages. That's what he wants,
Right. It was so Monday night on the Kings, we watched this video. of this guy who's, man, his YouTube channel is just blowing up. Like he's only got like 6 videos up. His name's Matt, spelled with 4 T's.
Okay.
And I discovered his YouTube channel like a week and a half ago because Art Taber shared a video with us. And it was the video he shared was the Bernie Kriegston story with just the great storytelling. And Bernie really broke up the panels and stuff of the guy falling on the train tracks and whatever. And but the point is, this was like a week and a half ago. The dude had 34,000 subscribers with like 5 videos. He's at 61,000 subscribers now, and he's got 6 videos now. So he did one on Rob Liefeld, and I actually watched it last week, but then Ethan brought it up on the King, so we all watched it. And the title of the video was like, how can a guy that doesn't know how to draw become a millionaire? Was the basic that's paraphrasing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And he just breaks down Rob's stuff from when he first started, even like he found sketches that Rob did when he was like 16, 17 before he got in the business.
It's the wrong way to look at it, though.
You know, well, no, he's just talking. He's showing the progression from then to present day, and
going after the guy's art at all in regards to his fame is a mistake. Like it's not about his art at all. Like, you haven't watched the video. Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, watch the video because he's not really going after it. I mean, there's some instances where, you know, he makes those typical jabs like, oh, he doesn't draw feet, blah, blah, blah. But he does a good job of breaking Rob's stuff down. And Malin brought up a good point about he shows this one cover, and it's from X-Force, and then Rob did it like, you know, came back and did an X-Force limited series like in the early 2000s. I've got the trade of it because I think it's cool. And, you know, Cable's holding this gun, and if you overanalyze it, yeah, it's fucked up. You know, but if you just look at it, right? And I think that's one of the things as artists, it's hard for us to do, which is look at it in the 2 ways. And what I mean is there's the one way you look at it, which is trying to turn what you know about art off and try to look at it from the standpoint of like, I like to say either my daughter or my wife or the 15-year-old kid or 12-year-old kid, right? And try to look at through that lens. Because if you look at through the lens of everything we know as artists, yeah, stuff's going to jump out. I mean, that can be with anybody, but John brought up a good point, which is Rob does his layout small. And I knew that just from talking to Dan and seeing, you know, some of the layouts. So Rob does his layout small. And whereas, and I've done this before, I would do layouts that way and I'd blow them up, but then I'd see stuff that's effed up. So I'd go in and fix it and overwork it, and I'd lose something. And what John said really hit home. And John's like, that's the difference. Rob does that layout. He blows it up, but he doesn't go in and start overthinking stuff. He just goes with the initial energy that's in that layout, messed up or not. And that's what keeps the energy. Now, the other thing you can also say is, and I've never met Rob. I've only listened to his podcast and interacted with him online. So I don't know this. Somebody could come back and say, well, maybe that's because Rob just doesn't know enough to know once he blows it up, oh my God, this is weird. And this is weird. I don't know that. You know, you actually have to ask Rob, and who knows? Rob could be like, no, this is fine. This got all the energy. I'm sticking right to it.
Let me clue all you guys into the real secret of Rob Liefeld. It's got nothing to do with drawing or his innocence or his layouts or his whatever. It's the same thing that had a guy who's never made a comic in his life sell $3 million worth, like Ripa. It's the same thing. He got on, like, I had never read a Rob Liefeld comic in my life, and I saw him on a Buttonfly Jeans commercial. I'd never read a Stan Lee comic, but I know his voice and his cadence as if he was my own father. You know, hello, true believers. I saw him in my cartoons. These are the things. It's getting out there and being visible. Like Rob was another Stan Lee. He was a showman. He was a great spokesperson. He had tons of youthful energy, and he went after it with a gusto. The same thing could be said with Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane, I mean, he does know how to bring the heat. Like, you look at his pages, and they're not great when you start digging into the details of it, but they got the excitement. So that when you hear him talk and you hear his enthusiasm, and you go look at those comics, you're like, yeah, you know, or you could be just a Spider-Man fan or whatever, but Rob never made a comic book without doing a press release. So,
no, and dude, I hear what you're saying. Rob he's got that really large personality to get out there, and one of the things the guy brought up in the video, and I knew this before watching the video, just from knowing about Rob for as long as for 30 years and listening to his podcast. Rob still has the very genuine excitement and enthusiasm for comics.
Yeah.
And he's not just like, oh, I got nothing else I can do to make a living. I've got to do. No, the dude loves what he does, and he just wants to have fun with it. And, that's what I want to do. I think that's what a lot of us want to do. It's just, Rob was just out of the gate.
I love Lofi says, stop saying Rob. Malin is stuck in the 90s now thanks to that really, what does it say? Rob, Byrne, Buscema, Kirby, find the odd one out. Yeah, but that's because he's Rob. He's just Rob. He's the kid in your neighborhood that draws comics. He's not really on the reverence level of like Byrne or Buscema, where we're on last name basis. It's just Rob. He's like a buddy.
Right.
But he really should be, because the guy's done great things for the industry. Brought a lot of people to the table.
I hear you. I agree. I mean, look, I did one thing for Extreme Studios back in the day, and it was in like 94, and it was a pinup of Supreme that ran in a Supreme annual. And for that one pinup, to make that money, I would have had to have drawn back then probably 6 pages of pencils for a regular company to make what I made for drawing that one pinup. So thank you.
Well, I mean, I'd heard tales of guys doing pinups or covers and getting like over $1,000. And at the time in the industry, I was like, I've never seen that kind of money in my life. But not until now. I mean, since Comicsgate, I mean, I got like $2,000 for that first Iron Sights cover because it did so well that the fans demanded he give me a bonus, and he did. He gave me another $1,000. So that's when in a healthy industry, guys can make enough money to survive on artwork. And I feel like we're there for a lot of people, but I really feel like we're on the cusp of like, there's this whole Iron Age movement thing going on.
Right. Yeah.
And like, I mean, if that works, that's great. I mean, I'll be here making comics one way or the other,
Bearwolf 13 says, Comicsgate Masterclass. Think about it. Books, videos, teaching various skills.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much of this stuff. This is why I kind of rail. I should just shut up and just do them. But like, people are all like, do a tutorial. I'm like, there's 20 million tutorials on it. I still learning from tutorials on YouTube, but I guess they want my tutorial,
Dude, so do I. But the thing is, people like seeing the different takes, because your take, if I did a tutorial on how to draw the figure and you did a tutorial on how to draw the figure, it'd be different. It'd be so different.
Well, yeah. I don't know. It still starts with the circles and the,
Well, it does, but you'd be surprised. I bet I'm willing to bet if a bunch of us just was like, okay, do a tutorial on drawing a figure 20-minute long, or half hour or whatever, while the basics might be the same, I think there'd be enough difference that people, it's like how-to books. I love good how-to-draw books. I still buy them. And even the shittiest how-to book that I've bought, there's at least one thing in it I'm like, oh, that's cool. And the rest of the book is like, well, I paid $20 for one thing, but oh well, that was cool.
See, Val even says, I would like to see tutorials only from Comicsgate creators.
There you go. Hey,
Okay,
hey,
that's a different
Kelsey,
thing,
we're gonna start wrapping this sucker up.
Refresh.
But,
We're gonna do a refresh. Yeah. Let's see if we had 17. No, yeah, look at that.
There
Wait,
you
we still
go.
got 289. Somebody must have contributed $1. Did you get a t-shirt?
Well, whatever. It works.
You're over 17. Woo!
That's
Yeah,
right,
but
that's
it's
what matters.
17,006. So now we gotta go all the way to 18 now, or at least 300. So I need an even number here. We'll keep going.
Yeah.
We'll keep going.
Oh, you.
Thank you.
I did want to find out, you guys did hear the news about Whatnot canceling heavy metal?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Heavy metal, I actually kind of surprised that it did not last very long.
I'm surprised it was still going. I thought they'd already canned it. Yeah.
Well, when the new one picked it up, and what's it been? Maybe 2 years. I'd actually have to go in and double check. But yeah, nope, it's done. Kaputski. So again, an opening for Comicsgate.
So Randy answered the question.
Oh, nice.
Kelsey, Fund My Comic allows you to update your contribution to add another perk, so it still only counts. So somebody could have went in and just updated their contribution. That's why the backer didn't go up. But so that's good to know.
Man, see another reason to use Fund My Comic. A lot of perks.
And once again, Randy with the knowledge. Golf clap.
Yeah.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you.
There you go, Travis. He's a good guy. He says Kelsey's work is a lot more dynamic than a lot of artist tutorials I see on YouTube. Plus, Kelsey has zero pretentiousness, like a lot of these YouTubers. Well, you got to talk to him off screen. Off screen, he's like, "Hey, did you read my writer? I didn't get the M&Ms delivered to my front door before the show, Smith." And
I'm a real prima donna.
I sent a whole M&M bouquet, and I said,
I demand two.
I said no green ones. I'm sorry. Do the show, please. He says, I'll do it, but I won't be on camera. And I'm like, that's fine.
Hey, Corin, what's up?
Corin's going to be Korn is going to be on our channel. Probably probably in a couple of weeks. So not next week. We have a guest lined up, but Korn probably, I think. Oh no, I already told you. I think that's August 2nd. I have it written down, but Korn is going to be a guest on the DNA show in a couple weeks.
Well, I'm going to get back on my show next week to lead up to the end of this campaign and to go to Tampa. So, and I want to have a couple different guys who have books out there. I'll definitely get you on. I'll reach out, Corin, and get you on there. That'll be fun. Cool. We'll do dueling sketchbooks, or he's got an actual art book. He's got finished art.
Holy crap. His book looks freaking fantastic. I mean, his art just looks fantastic.
Hold on. Let me maybe you can bring that up real quick while we're talking. Wait, do we
Oh shit. Well, Kelsey will join and I'll do this now instead of saving it for the end.
By the way, that was not DNA.
Oh, he's back.
I was so excited. Get going. I had to call Karl.
Okay, you're back.
All right. Sorry about that. Wrong button. Forgot what the hell I was doing. How do I do this? Oh, that's
you figure that out, and I'm going to do this. Guys, we're doing this, and then we'll show Korn's book as Kelsey finds it. Kor-Drath the Reckoning, guys. 5 pages left to go, and this 76-page book is finished. So the link is in the description below, Kor-Drath.com. That link is too. The reason I bring it up is because on the Indiegogo page, you can read pages 1 through 8, but on Kor-Drath.com, you can read pages 1 through 11 because one of the pages is a little spicy. Go check it out. The T-shirts, I'm going to scroll a little fast here so I can get down and show you the T-shirts. The T-shirts are going to be coming down at the end of this month, end of July, so we can get them to the T-shirt place to make them and start mailing those out before the book because they do ship separately. So there's the main Kor-Drath T-shirt featuring my art. We've got the beautiful Bud Root T-shirt featuring his variant cover, and the beanie orders will go in as well. So guys, If you have been waiting on a shirt, definitely go back it and get them now because they will be coming down. And if you haven't yet, back the book. 76 pages, ball-busting barbarian action. We've got an oversized artist edition featuring all my black and white art. Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
You can see all the nasty white out and crap. The pencil smudging.
Right
5 different covers to choose from. So it's like Burger King. Have it your way. Pick a cover. Pick any cover.
Or pick them all.
Or pick them all because there is a tier where you can get them all.
That's right.
And there's a game module. Dennis wrote a 24-page game module that is actually playable. It's been tested by different role players. So you can do that.
It's getting ready to go in for layout. So everything's coming together really quickly, everybody. So,
very cool.
Don't wait too long to get into this because there might not be a second chance.
That's right. Hello, Michael. Michael was on the show last week.
He was. There's Michael.
So check out Kor-Drath, guys. Links are in the description below. I'd go through it more, but I'd rather have you click on it and take your time and go through it. So do that. Let's add this to the stream. This is
Kor-Animated.
I know. I love that title. Kor-Animated. If you want to
Kor-Animated,
go right ahead.
Yeah, he's got some amazing work. I mean,
dude,
this is like 180 pages he's saying here. So it's going to be a big art book.
Like there's a soft cover and a hardcover version.
Yeah, you can get either one. Hardcover, soft cover. Look at this. I mean, he's just the coolest stuff.
Dude, it is
so great.
I never even thought of character designing for like animated cartoons and stuff when I was learning to draw and my whole thing was comics. But I know a few character designers now, and I just look at this stuff and I'm just like, wow, that is just so freaking cool.
Yeah, because it has like all the things that we love about comics, but then design like a cool animation that you've never seen before. You're like, oh my god.
And the thing is, it's like, well, let's go back to like one of their originals. Well, one of the originals would be Alex Toth, but
yeah,
not that far back. But let's go with Bruce Timm, right? They do this. They're like, hey, let's do this new Batman show in the early 90s. Bruce Timm, at that point, he did some He-Man mini comics and stuff. He gets this gig to do the character designs, and now there's the Bruce Timm style, and that's what I think is so cool about the cartoons now in the past 30 years is if you are picked to be the lead designer, everybody has to draw like you that's working on the show.
Yeah, and you're going to create like a whole new thing because that's what people get used to seeing is the character in that style.
Right,
Kor, man, I could totally see him taking lead on any of this stuff. I would watch any of these cartoons, man. But like, I want him drawing comics.
That's what I was going to say. Screw that. I'm still a comic book guy. I want to see him drawing comic books.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. And I want to see him drawing his own comics. I mean, seeing a Spider-Man would be sweet.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I want to see a creator own thing. Yeah.
Look at this kick-ass skateboard he's got.
Skateboard.
Like $200 just skate deck. I don't know how much skateboards cost, but that's awesome.
Yeah, neither do I. Because if I got on one, I'd probably break something. So
that's the last time I got on a skateboard. I damn near broke my legs. So
I would definitely break something. So I would want to do that. But
beautiful book. But definitely get over here and back this book and get 180 pages of killer art like this, man. This is insane. So it's definitely a great looking book. You get it on funmycomic.com.
That's right. And Randy has posted the link, so you can go check it out. Just scroll back up and see it. And because our friend Michael Bancroft is in the chat, Randy has posted the link for his latest too, Lucid Painted Death. So go check that out as well.
Another great book.
Bancroft!
We are going to go eat dinner because
Crikey.
It is.
What are y'all eating?
Crikey, mate.
I'm going to go eat some beef vegetable soup.
Time. Are you an hour behind us, or are you the same time zone? I can't remember.
No, I'm an hour behind you. Yeah. So every time you say 5, I was like, 5 o'clock. No problem. I could do the Graybeard's drawing show and do the. No, I'd have. Thank God it's not happening today. Aaron would be so mad.
Dude, how perfect is that? I actually thought of that last night. I was like, wait a second. Aaron's in San Diego. There is no gray beards this week. I'm not jacking a guest of his at all.
Yeah.
I was already making my apologies to Aaron. I was like, oh, I didn't know. I'll never do this again. I'm sorry. And then I was like, wait a minute. You're in San Diego. Never mind.
There you go. Chris Graves says, hey, gents, just back Kelsey's book.
Oh, awesome.
So,
thank you.
there you go. Hey, Kelsey, thank you for joining us today.
It's always a pleasure.
It's always so much fun to talk to you about artwork and stuff. We got.
Oh my God, we can go on forever about comic books for sure.
But go back Kelsey's book. The link is in the description below. Thank you guys that had backed it during the show. That is very much appreciated.
Yes, thank you.
We will be back next week. We will announce the guest shortly for that. So stay tuned. And we are seeing Oppenheimer tomorrow night.
Oh,
that means Friday morning, the review goes up for Oppenheimer.
That's right. Outlaws review will be out tomorrow morning. Oppenheimer Friday morning. And I just did on my channel the playthrough. Another book and record. I did one from 1973, a G.I. Joe tale. So you guys can go check out the latest playback through the book and records.
There you go. And I do plan on, I've been thinking about doing a Fund My Comic as a bridge campaign after Kor-Drath's over.
You should, man.
Next one. Because just to let everybody know, the second volume of Kor-Drath isn't launching as soon as this one's over. Because we want to get it all shipped out to everybody and all that. So I was thinking about doing a art book as well, actually.
I can imagine like an art book or like an artist edition of First Man. You know, have you done one of those?
No, I haven't done one of those yet either. So there's a couple things like that I'm thinking
ash
about.
Can would be really sweet. I'm trying to bring back the old school ash cans, man. I want to do one. Oh, I love them too.
What about a Mission Impossible spoiler review? Well, we did the spoiler-free review last week. So here's the deal. We talked about today. From now on, when we do our movie reviews, the first half is spoiler-free. And then we're going to announce, okay, that was the spoiler-free part. Now we're doing spoilers. So if you want to stop listening, you can stop listening or stop watching the review.
The biggest problem we had is we just don't have time because originally we wanted to do spoiler-free from those right away and then spoiler-filled. We just don't have time. He's busy working. I'm busy working on stuff. So we're just going to do it. We will do spoiler-free and then spoiler-filled. But we'll give you the warning henceforth, starting with Oppenheimer.
That's right.
I want to see that.
Oh, dude, good. I can't wait. But nobody ruined the ending for me. I'm trying to stay away. I don't know how it ends.
The ship sinks.
God damn it. Somebody did that before I saw Titanic. I was like, why did you do that to me? I wasn't alive when this happened. How do I know it didn't make it?
Jack died.
Oh, my God. There was enough room on that door for him.
He could have saved him, but she chose not to. What a tramp.
Kate Winslet, if it wasn't for the fact I saw your titties in that movie, I'd be...
we would have problems, yeah.
We'd have problems. All right, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Everybody, thanks for joining us on this fun talk with Kelsey. Go back his book. Look at that. 290 backers, 17,046 bucks. Yeah, baby.
No, don't back it. I'm at 290. That's a good place to stop. Or we can go to 300.
No, stop. No, 300.
Okay, we'll stop at 300.
Kelsey, 300.
Yeah.
All right, that's a nice round number. We'll go with 300. We'll go for that one.
300. All right, guys. We'll catch you guys later. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye, everybody. And there's that damn gang sign. We're going to get beat up one day.